All right, welcome back to episode 36 of the Hops and Bops podcast. I'm Tom, as always, and we are doing one more episode with my good friends Overspace and Cashland as well, but this time it is not their album we're doing. We're doing a different album by R.A.P Ferreira called Purple Moonlight Pages. And to pair with that, we have chosen Athletic Brewing Company's Run Wild IPA. Now, this one is interesting because it's a non-alcoholic beer. It has less than 0.5% alcohol per volume. And, yeah, they come from Connecticut. They're one of the biggest non-alcoholic brewing companies in the game right now. And, yeah, let's try it out.
Yeah,
let's,
why
pop
not?
them open.
I'm excited.
Ready to get this real.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh,
That
nice.
was loud.
Oh shit!
You spill a little bit?
Shit just exploded. Oops. Take a sip.
Okay, it tastes like a straight-up IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's but there's no there's no kick to it. That's
there's
real.
not.
That's strange. Oh,
That's weird.
I've-
There's no. It's just
That is-
hops.
yeah. Well,
I don't know
that's
what I'm
half
talking
the
about.
name
I'm
of the
like acting
podcast.
like I can really. The hops are.
It's very hoppy. Yes.
It's very hoppy. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see. I believe they're out of New Britain, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But they're from Connecticut. I definitely know that.
It's Stratford.
Stratford. Never mind. So
oh,
yeah,
that's
this
what
is
it says
their.
right here at least.
Oh, it literally says it on the can. Okay.
And San Diego.
Oh yeah, they're really expanding their range. But yeah, this beer is won a lot of awards actually as well. From 2020, it's won the U.S. winner of the World Beer Awards. It got the gold medal. Got the gold at the Best of Craft Beer 2020 Awards. The U.S. Open Beer Championship 2020 gold winner. But only the silver winner at the International Beer Challenge. But
They can't win them all.
We don't talk about
exactly. Yeah. No. Anyway, it says on their website, the ultimate sessionable IPA for craft beer lovers, brewed with a blend of 5 Northwest hops. It has an approachable bitterness to balance the specialty malt body, and only 70 calories, so it's on the later end, which is really cool.
Trying to cut down.
Yeah, it's
slim
vegan.
down, drinking all these beers.
It's vegan. It's non-GMO. So if you have to do with that, you can drink it. Let's see. It's got organic Vienna malt, malted barley, oats, hop, all that other stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting. I've never had a beer that tastes like beer but doesn't.
Yeah, right.
very-
It's
yeah.
very strong. It's very it has that I don't know. It's like it has this little bite, I guess, to it. It's not. It doesn't taste. It doesn't have that beer kick to it, but it has like the
There's something
bitterness
there.
of the hops. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, take what I say with a grain of salt because I don't know shit about beers.
Same.
So more stuff from their website. They have a perfectly paired food menu to go along with this.
Oh, whoa.
It says, try our favorite healthy, delicious recipes created to pair perfectly with our brews. And so the 3 foods they have chosen to pair with this, oven-roasted shrimp and asparagus with romesco sauce, seared tuna bowl, and party pizza. I don't know what party
I love
pizza
party
entails,
pizza.
but
Just pizza
they have
you
just,
eat at a party, or is it?
I guess it looks like it's got like black olives and like onions and mozzarella on there, a bunch of other stuff, but they have the recipe on there, and I think you
Mozzarella.
use their beer in with the formula as well.
Whoa!
So-
They marinate whatever it is in the
I
beer?
think so, or something like that, or at least to pair with it while you're eating. It's supposed to match up well, because their whole theme
That's
is
such
that
a
it's
cool
supposed to be
idea.
healthy for you because it's non-alcoholic and only 70 calories. So they try to pair it with healthier food options as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
The shrimp sounds delicious with this.
What was it? Oven roasted shrimp and asparagus with romesco sauce.
I don't even know what romesco sauce is.
But it sounds good. But yeah, they have a whole line of non-alcoholic beers that are Also quite interesting. They have a Free Wave Hazy IPA. They have a Light Copper Cerveza Atletica.
Wow.
And this one as well. So a lot of cool stuff from them. Personally, I don't quite understand the whole wave behind the non-alcoholic beers. I guess if you're like a struggling alcoholic or something and you like the taste of beers but want to wean off of that, I get that. Or, something like that. But personally, it doesn't really make sense because the whole point of beers is less about the taste of it and more just like to actually get drunk for some people.
Right.
Generally.
So
I guess it's like a I don't know, a bougie way of like looking at beers. It's like you have beers, right? You got your like Modelo's, you got your like Bud Light, stuff like that, where people are just like, yeehaw, let's get drinking, right? But like then you have your other side of it where it's like, no, we're really trying to this is like a beer for enthusiasts, I feel like.
Okay. Okay.
It's
a collector's item almost.
It's a collector, and it's like it really is about the flavor, because I know that there are a lot of people who are really like into their hops, they're into their undertones and shit. It's like wine tasting, but with sorry about my dogs in the background.
It's all right.
With beer. Beer tasting.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like the different sides of a spectrum where you, like you said, you have like the Bud Light where no one's gonna say that the flavor of Bud Light is good, but they do it just to get drunk quick. And then you have that middle ground of all the cooler IPAs, West Coast, all the stuff that tries to match getting drunk with tasting good. And then this one is just trying to focus on tasting good without getting you drunk.
Yep.
So it's like just like a other side of the spectrum, which is kind of interesting.
Exactly.
So
I think that is really cool. I do like that aspect of it. It's just more about the refinement of the brewery, I guess.
It's fair enough.
Interesting.
And so just
I
so just some stuff from the side of the can. It says, at Athletic Brewing Company, we are pioneering a craft brew revolution. We believe you shouldn't have to sacrifice your ability to be at your best to enjoy great brews, so we created our innovative lineup of refreshing non-alcoholic craft brews. So it makes sense, I guess,
There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
There you go. So thank you to Athletic Brewing Co. This is their Run Wild version. Because usually we do a lot of IPA-focused stuff on the podcasts. That's kind of our go-to, just because a lot of it was kind of started in the New England area. So there's a lot of innovation that started around here.
That's really cool.
Then it kind of jumped to the West Coast. So it makes sense they have a brewery in Stratford and also in, where is it, San Diego, you said?
Yeah, San Diego.
Yep.
So they have like a West Coast version of that. I know their other really big one is the Upside Dawn, the golden one, which I was kind of considering going with that one as well, but I figured the IPA would have been more authentic for us. So
yeah, right.
We went with that.
Stay in your lane.
I know Mike and Joe are also very big onto these as well. So they kind of introduced me to Athletic as well. So shout outs to them. If you want to go get those, they're pretty easy to come by as long as you aren't Asher.
I'm gonna be real. Yeah, exactly. This was hard for me to get. I mean, not like super hard, except they seem really popular because I asked one place that was actually like somewhat close by, like 20 minutes away. I was like, hey, do you guys have this? And they're like, nah, we're all sold out, man. And I had to drive to this one that was like 35-ish minutes away. And they were like, yo, we got one more 6-pack. Like, I can hold it for you. So I'm like,
wow.
Hold it? What is this, like a Yeezy drop? So I was like,
you got the reserve.
Exactly, right. So I'm like, cool, thank you so much.
You're not on the list, man. Sorry.
Exactly right. I don't know. Maybe it's popping in Jersey or something like that now, but
yeah,
it's funny.
Cool. So Athletic Brewing Company. You can check them out at athleticbrewing.com. Also, they deliver apparently. So if you want to get it online, go for it. But thanks to them, pretty decent drink. It's interesting to have the taste of it and not the taste of that bitter alcohol hit.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
But it still kind of tastes like it. It's a strange mixture of both that I've never actually felt before.
Weird. It is weird. Yeah.
So
cool.
Big ups to them.
I respect it though.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, let's transfer a bit over into the album that we all kind of chose, which is Purple Moonlight Pages by R.A.P. Ferreira.
Yes, sir.
So when I first wanted Nick and Asher on the podcast, we had a couple different ideas because it was just going to be for their release, and then I kind of wanted to branch out a bit further from that because Nick and I did have a radio show in school, the Tans Review Show, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We just kind of talked about album reviews, and I wanted him on for another episode just to kind of get that feel back because we have done that before. We had a lot. We did a whole month of just
fun.
Brockhampton releases.
That's
did a
really
few
cool.
Tyler the Creator ones.
I
just want to do a couple more.
I have vivid memories of when you and Nick were doing the little podcast thing together, or like the radio show. I was working as a janitor at the time, and I would I heard that you guys were starting, so I'd be like, oh shit, okay. I was like cleaning the bathrooms, and then I'd like lock myself in a stall and just I'd do this
Sort of phone to
on my
the ear. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we were talking about Brockhampton, and then you were like in the comment section of whatever that website was.
Yep. I think that was then, actually. That was the time that I'm remembering.
Yeah,
So
I was like, quick, before we shut down, what's your favorite Brockhampton song? And you were probably like immediately. I was like, oh shit, all right.
Damn, word.
Yeah, we had a couple different changes from this one. It was going to be a Kendrick one, and then we switched it around a little bit. And but I'm really glad it landed on this one. It's R.A.P. Ferreira's Purple Moonlight Pages, his 2020 release. And I really don't have a lot of history with this artist. I know he went by a lot of different names. I know he went by Milo for a little bit. But I don't really have a lot of background with him. So do you guys know a little bit more about me than this one?
A bit. So I caught his, not specifically R.A.P. Ferreira. I think R.A.P. Ferreira is a newer alias, right?
It is.
Purple
yeah,
Moonlight
it's newer
Pages.
than Milo.
Yeah, Milo's been around for a while, and I caught his album, it's got the full name is like Budding Ornithologists Are Weary of Tired Analogies.
Yeah.
So that album I caught, that was from like 2018, maybe 2017.
Yeah.
I listened to that, and it was really good. That's what got me hooked. Same kind of vibe, but I do like Purple Moonlight Pages better. A little more cohesive of a project, but that's how I heard about him. So
it's something that so Nick actually put me on to Milo, I think, like around the time that he heard it. I didn't think it was Budding Ornithologist, but it was also what's it called? His other album.
Things That Happen a Day.
Milo's other album?
I think it was a Toothpaste Suburb thing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. No. It was something.
Was it So the Flies Don't Come?
No. Well, whatever it was.
That's the one I've heard.
Yeah. But anyway, he was showing me that, and then I actually I listened to that for a while, and then I would kind of, I waned off that, and then I discovered Purple Moonlight Pages, around the exact time that it came out, and then I showed Nick, and then we were talking, and he was like, wait, this is the guy. Nick was like, wait, this is the guy that I showed you.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't know of R.A.P. Ferreira, and Asher didn't remember Milo.
Exactly.
So when we were showing each other the albums, it was like, hold on, wait, I recognize this guy's voice.
Yep. So this was my first ever his other albums. I as Milo, I really dug and I really mess with. Except this one, it kind of stuck with me more, and it was his first project as R.A.P. Ferreira, as I'm aware of. So it's
Believe so.
yeah, I don't know, his new page, his new
Yeah.
Moonlight Page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it also has the Jefferson Park Boys on it, which
Yes.
has a fair bit of members in it. Who's in there?
Yeah, Mr.
Kenny
Carmack.
Siegel's in there, right?
Yeah, Kenny Siegel.
He's like the biggest one around there.
Yeah.
Who else is in there? Oh,
Mr. Carmack's the producer.
Yeah.
Who's actually he's got some history on he did like trap music back in like a long time ago. He's one of like
Oh yeah.
when I think of like SoundCloud and like the kind of EDM
Mr.
kind of
Carmack,
trap,
yeah.
Mr. Carmack's one of the first people that comes to mind.
100%.
It's
I
funny
forgot
because
that
I
Carmack
didn't
was in.
I didn't
Jefferson
realize
Park
that he
Boys.
was a part of this, but yeah, he's on the production on this album. So
Yeah.
yeah, we both had this on our like favorite albums list of last year. It was like pretty high up. I think it was at least top 5 for both of us.
Yeah.
oh wow, really?
Yeah, definitely. It was I don't know, it just felt like such a quarantine anthem, you know.
Yeah.
I mean it was literally, but I have so many vivid memories with it now that I hold really close to, you know, the whole pandemic situation and everything like that it really just kind of it has this little compartment in my mind of just it's very already kind of like nostalgic in a way.
It's so unique too. There's not a whole lot of like that kind of abstract hip hop that's going around, but I mean I don't listen to like any really. Besides like maybe Injury Reserve.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, this project really stuck out as like a staple for that genre, especially in 2020, but really just in general.
Yeah. This album, it gives off a lot of like, I don't know if you know Billy Woods that much. A lot of his sounds really come out in this. And also what's his name? Koreatown Oddity. You ever hear that album?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love that album.
A lot of those kind of styles really come out. That's something we should mention too. There's a reviewer on the internet called Anthony Fantano, or The Needle Drop, that I feel like a lot of us are pretty
you know him.
pretty big on. Yeah. And that's how I was first kind of introduced to R.A.P. Ferreira, was through him, because I think he gave it like an 8 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I heard about
and
Milo originally.
Oh, okay. I think Milo came up to me on like a recommended for you tab on Spotify or something.
Yeah.
But I've only really
That's
heard
what
a couple
Purple
of
Moonlight did
songs.
with me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I haven't given this album a full listen until we kind of decided to go through this, and it's really interesting. There's
So interesting.
he's so lyrical and so potent with those lyrics that it really hits differently.
It's
we can just
yeah, it's really he has such a unique style with his wording. You know, it really is just kind of poetry, but it also has this I feel like very lovable almost like familiarity with it, where he keeps going back into certain subjects, you know. Like he talks about Black Orpheus a lot. He talks about
The
Rubaiyats, and like now that's his label. He has Rubaiyats, you know, and stuff like that. And
okay.
I just think it's really he always, even though it goes in such far off places, it always kind of trails back to home, where it's like, oh, this is him. This is like, you know, you can yeah, he it's very distinct, and it's out there, but it's not too unfamiliar that it's like, oh, he's going off the walls. I don't understand what he's talking about. He always brings it home, I feel like, and kind of gives it like this sense of while not taking it too seriously. He's really, that's where I think he's also expanded a lot from his older stuff. Was like recently, especially, he's just been having a lot more fun with it. It sounds
Kind of letting go a little bit.
For sure.
exactly. Yeah, word.
Yeah. Yeah, we could just get into it. I really like the intro track,
Yeah, me too.
Decorum.
Yeah.
It's very like introductory, which would make sense because it's the intro.
Yeah.
I really like his references back to the fence building nihilists,
Yes.
which I'm assuming is like talking about, you know, people who want to build the wall and stuff like that. Which is it's very
at
cool.
the time political situation. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I thought that's really cool. It almost reminded me of like a MF Doom, where he talks about like
gonna
on
say that,
Mad
Bistro.
Villainy. Bistro, where he introduces everyone and mentions the influence of
the Jefferson
everyone on
Park
there.
Boys. That's Mr. Kenny C. Like stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I really
And
do.
also,
Oh, sorry.
no, yeah. And also I like how his name is R.A.P. Ferreira, but R.A.P. actually stands for Rory Allen Philip Ferreira, which I'm assuming is his full name. So I thought that's really cool, and also, it's a rap because he's a rapper.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
And really cool.
He's destined. I really just love just how this album starts off, like with the fence building nihilist. Good evening, like it's already all right. We know what we're in for.
It's very
like,
in your face,
tone.
like
Sets the tone, and it's like it's so. It really, I don't know, it sets the tone already.
It's a
for sure.
great intro to the album.
For real, definitely.
Like quite literally introducing everybody. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very like straight to the point. Like, we know our audience, but this is for you. Like, this is what the messaging behind the lyrics are.
Exactly.
And what did he say at the very end? This transmission is addressed to the fence building nihilists. Your soul writes, come home, abandon them outdated strategies, namely hatred.
Yeah.
Exile is no place for a person or your compassion. Like, he's such... It's almost like he's doing spoken word at some points on this album, which can almost be a turn-off for me. Yeah. There are parts where I want him to be a bit more rhythmic with his vocal speech patterns. But what he's saying is extremely potent, and I think it's really, really cool. Yeah. And also, I didn't realize this was released like right before the COVID started. Like, it was March 6th, 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
for real, it's crazy.
It's really, really cool.
When it was all looming over us. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like on the topic of the spoken word situation, I feel like he does it in a really clever way too, because a lot of the spoken word parts are in points of there's no real rhythmic structure yet. Like in Decorum, it's like you just have that soothing Rhodes keys, right? Just kind of going freestyle over his voice, right? But then when he brings it onto something like, he's going like non-cipher and stuff like that.
Yeah, the drums come in like crazy. And
it's still that essence of spoken word, but he's always leaning on one syllable that's gonna hit to the beat, and it's like, oh, okay, so he's really kind of bouncing around that spoken word feeling, but will always kind of coming, he's not going crazy off the walls with it. He's always bringing it back, to the beat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
Then it goes right into to Greens right after that. That's the first track after that intro track.
Yeah.
Bit longer, but I liked it.
I love how this song starts too.
Yeah, the beat comes in.
Open the fucking pit. The beat sounds like that. Love that shit.
Yeah.
The bass on this song is so crazy. I love the bass on this.
One of my favorite songs on the album, I'd say already.
Yeah.
It's so good.
The little vocal samples that are kind of trickled throughout it too.
Yep,
the boys in blue investigate.
Yep.
It's cool.
It really, it's so fun. It's such a good song.
Yeah, it's such a cool narrative tying it all up together. Even though sometimes his words can be a bit longer and tougher to not tougher, but he's going around the easier rhymes to make it sound a bit more deeper than it is, which is really cool. And I think he does draw a lot of influence from Doom with that kind of rap flow. And I think it's very unique the way he does it, and I think he imposes it really well. Yeah, and then it switches over to non-cipher, which I think is one of my personal favorites on the album.
Same.
I really enjoyed this track. One of my personal favorite parts of the track is his second verse, where the saxophone or whatever kind of instrument they're doing there.
Bring that up.
Yeah, it goes with what he's saying, and it jumps up in octaves and notes where he's speaking, and it's super tight. And I really, really enjoy that.
It's so interesting.
It's so different. The production end on this is just phenomenal.
He does that a few times on this album too, where a sax or some melody follows him.
He does that a lot in a lot of his music.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
It's so good. It really is like, it's such a, it feels so, I don't know, it makes his words kind of come to life even more, I guess, you know. I like how he introduces that he's going to go along with it, or that he and the saxophone kind of have this relationship, right? Where he starts off the song going with it a little bit. He's like, you know, the sax is going on, and he's going da 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 da, you know, and it's just, it's kind of intro like, oh, here's what you're in for. I feel like a lot of the songs on this album, they start with clear intent, you know.
And and then afterwards it switches over to Omens and Totems.
I love this song. This song's really
deep cut.
It's a weird song. It's something that's what next?
I was gonna say the beat on it is so weird.
It's
almost just
sounds
like
a Minecraft
stretched
beat.
Yeah, it does.
Like a Minecraft cave type beat.
It's a very weird little melody, which again he likes to sing on the
Yep.
He likes to sing over those a lot.
Loves to do it. I love that. It's very cool. Something else that I noticed that he always he tends to do a lot is he always likes to put like a thought or a place to one of these beats, right? So like, and I see this in a lot of songs, none off the top of my head except for this one in particular. He says, this beat sounds like a long walk to the dumpster.
And it truly does.
Ooh,
it really does. And it's like he does that a lot in Bob's Son too, his most recent album, where it's like, yeah, this beat sounds like this, or man, this song sounds like something like this, and it really just it puts such good context to all of these. I feel like
helps you get really involved with the music too, because you're like, you start picturing yourself in that situation. You're like, whoa,
damn, this really does sound like a long walk to the dump. Like shit, that's scary as hell. It's like
really puts you in that
SpongeBob
that
walking to the dumpster scene.
Yes, exactly.
The hat-slinging slasher scene. It really sounds like that.
At night.
At night.
Yeah. A good way to describe this beat is creepy, because it really does put you in that mood. Because
ominous.
he doesn't have that rhythmic flow. It's very spoken word style. And you know, sometimes with a lot of rap, you can just kind of put it on in the background, just kind of vibe with it. And this album, you can't do that.
Yep.
He really forces himself to be in the forefront.
And again, it's very well thought out, because again, Omens and Totems doesn't really have a beat. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
it's very clunky.
It's very clunky. It's very
there's no like real time signature.
Yeah, it gives him leeway to really do that spoken word situation, and that adds to the kind of ominousness of it too.
Definitely.
Real.
Yeah, it's one of the more unsettling tracks, which is interesting for him. But switches over to UDIG, or United Defenders of International Goodwill, right after that.
Yep.
You dig?
The song is cool. I like this one.
It's so fun, man. It's so... I love the use of such interesting percussion, such interesting, like, just beats in general. Because it's so... And he really just bodies them. You know?
It's a very goofy beat, especially, like, at the start. Yeah, it's like the little... dinky little
exactly, like slamming on a little glass.
You don't really, what I like about this song, you don't really anticipate it coming in with that chord, like that really like creepy, like fucking like Scooby-Doo chord almost. It comes in. I don't know.
Right.
It's very like, it's like goofy, creepy. I don't know, but
totally, exactly. It's like
you don't think it's going in that direction, but then it works really well, and it kicks into that like full kind of production in the middle section.
Yeah.
Um,
And it just
really cool.
it really blossoms. It just really like it blooms, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Mhm.
So cool. I'm just looking through the lyrics right now too and listening to it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like the part near the end where he was like, "Did I really deserve this?" or something. Or I say in earnest,
Did you earn this?
Did you earn this? And he says, "Before
Before
scarfing several."
And he emphasizes on that. He says it twice.
Yeah, that's something that is another part of his lyrical style where he will repeat like a smaller line like a couple times just to hammer it home because I feel like when you're listening to it casually, at least for me, a lot of his lyricism can go over your head a little bit where
Exactly.
you
For sure.
can't really focus too much on it.
Or
I really like at the very end he's talking about "Can You Dig It?" and he's talking about the name. He brings the name of the song back into United Defenders of International Goodwill. You dig, and that's like UDIG is like the
you dig.
like what it breaks down to. It's clever.
I didn't
really
even think of
clever.
that.
You dig?
Yeah.
That is really cool.
That is really funny. I didn't think about that either. About all of the... I feel like he uses that, like, repeating sentences in a really, really clever way because of how much stuff, like you were saying, goes over his head. You need something to kind of, like... It's like, it wakes you up. It's like, oh, okay. You know, it makes you... Here, all right, this is what he's talking about. This is his emphasis here. This is his point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can just be
well,
kind of, like...
Yeah.
It doesn't have a meaning sometimes. You just want to say it.
Doesn't have
Exactly. Yeah. Even if it's not the most important part of the entire album or song, you know, you just got to hammer it home so people are like, oh, yeah, that's a. Well, I mean, a lot of that's like a good marketing strategy. If you see a lot in commercials where people just repeat something over and over again to get it stuck in their head.
Exactly.
So, you know, especially on this one where there's so many lyrics coming at you everywhere.
He's a
Like
marketing
I'll
genius.
I'll think back to it and be like, oh yeah, before scarfing several. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, obviously, I think it more for the beat overall than anything else,
Right.
just because I think it's so unique and cool how you can
Yeah.
incorporate like a glass of water being tapped
Ding,
or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty unique.
Something that's interesting about this album, that I really think is cool. I think Fantano mentioned this in his interview too. Was that this is definitely his most like high quality production album. You know, like you think back to like Scalps Hotel or like, you know, Budding Ornithologists and stuff like that. It was very like it was very lo-fi and it was very like it was not like, how do I say, high expense production, you know?
Right.
It wasn't very like high budget production. There we go.
Yeah,
You know,
because he's got like the full band actually on it now, which
Yeah,
definitely
right.
makes the difference.
Makes such a big it really feels like it's and like that's like not to bash like the other stuff because that was great too and it really like fit the niche. But this, I feel like it just really it lets him expand into his full potential. You know, it doesn't just sound like he's recording from his bedroom now. This is like, all right, this is really him being able to express his full intent, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's cool.
Yeah, and then jumps over to Laundry, which is one of the larger singles off of this, right?
Love one of my favorites
Yes.
too.
I
Definitely,
think this
me
is
too.
my favorite song
Yeah.
on the album. It's definitely the most like easily accessible. I feel like for people that don't really listen to this kind of abstract hip hop. Definitely the most like cohesive like beats. It's very I don't want to say generic, but you know what I mean. It's very.
It has a chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It has a chorus too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like
Yeah.
I love the whole story behind it though. It's a great song. I
I
love it.
wonder if Chance the Rapper do his own laundry. It's such a good. It's such a good.
Yeah.
He has so many good like reflections. Like he like
Yeah.
just points that he brings across really well. You know, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
And especially for like a concept that isn't really as deep or as intricate as some of the others on this one,
Yeah.
he really pulls as much as he can out of the idea of laundry. You know,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, like how he can pull from all these different kind of influences while still being so deep. You know, like you don't think too much of laundry, but
I think that's
Right.
what he
Yeah.
does. It's a recurring theme on this album is that he takes like a simple concept and he expands upon it. Like this whole album is just kind of about like just love and peace and also like reflecting on again like the human condition, just like what you know,
definitely.
what how a person thinks, who we are.
Yeah.
Cycles follows that one up. I think
Yeah.
it, bumps the. Well, it still stays down in terms of like vibes and mood that
Yeah.
the album carries, but at least it has like a beat to go with it.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
totally.
It's not. I don't think it's one of my favorites on the album.
I was about
but
to
at
say
least,
this might be my least favorite on the album. This track.
Really?
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the first couple lines of it is really interesting because obviously this came out before COVID, so this wasn't about
Yeah.
the quarantine and everything, but it reflects it so well in
That's
like
very
hindsight.
true.
It was going to be a
Very
big
true.
summer, yet somehow
Yeah.
that's never the
That's a
case,
good
is
point,
it?
yeah.
That's so true. Everyone
cool.
since then too, a big. Yet somehow that's
uh,
never the case. That is so interesting.
Yeah, and the first verse
Yeah.
starts really cool too. The whole like at the end of the world we were fighting back with brushes and pens. We decided that the suffering should end no matter how good it feels. Wooden shields ain't stopping bullets.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole like struggle of the artist.
of course.
I think it's really interesting how he talks about that kind of stuff. But
That is super interesting. I guess I don't know why. It's like personally the beat doesn't hit for me. Like
uh-huh.
and I don't know, this is just for some reason this is the one that I always skip on the album. Like,
Really?
Mhm.
It's honestly
like-
yeah.
I like the section at the very end too where he keeps repeating funny how cycles works,
Yeah.
where I just know my worth.
Yeah, right.
And like the fact that the song's called Cycles, I don't know, it all plays into itself really well.
It does. It
Um,
does.
I do like
Yeah.
that theme of like, I don't know, it seems like he's talking a lot about like the struggle of being an artist on this.
Yeah.
And he's like, I swear I know my worth, that I'm, artists are worth it, that kind of thing. I don't know.
The struggle of being an
Mhm.
artist, but also just the struggle of being a person, I feel like too, of like the cycle of it's always going to be it's always this song has like that the grass is greener concept, on the other side.
Yep.
And it does play on that very well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's not me
I
like
also,
just because it's not my least just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean like I can't bash that. I can't bash
Right.
it. It's great.
hmm I also really like on the outro where he mentions the an idea is a work of art.
Uh-huh.
He mentions that a couple times, and then you see later in the track list that's an actual track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of
It's
a
good
cool
foreshadowing.
way of tying that in. Exactly, yeah. And also I like that concept of how an idea is a work of art.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Um,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Then we got
Absolutes is after that. I like that kind of guitar kind of it's like Latin guitar or something
It's
like
one
that.
really
I
nice.
really enjoyed that.
This is definitely one of my favorite beats.
me too.
Definitely.
It's very lo-fi.
I mean, we don't have to go through every single track because we're already almost
Right.
at an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah, and we're only halfway through. So,
Damn.
Right.
if you just have like things you want to say about specific tracks, we can just go to those.
I think
Yeah.
honestly the second half of the album is probably I don't know. I just love all this album. Leaving
They're
Hell
so
might
great.
be my favorite song on the
Leaving Hell, we definitely got to talk
Mine
about.
too.
That's a good one.
So good. Leaving Hell,
Yeah, let's do that.
Mythical, Golden Sardine, Doldrums are my four on the back half that I really love
Mm-hmm.
personally. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Leaving Hell is
Yeah,
great.
we-
It's really the only time in the album he comes out and does any kind of like singing, like really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his singing is nice. It's
Yeah.
I was gonna. I forgot to mention on the the album podcast for us. Definitely an influence. I feel like.
Yeah, that's
really?
partially why I picked this album, because it is a bit of an influence for sure.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
that kind of like unprofessional kind of singing.
And he's because it's so there's something I wouldn't want it any other way because it's so it's just very human. It sounds like someone listening to this and like in the car and singing along to it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like touched up too much.
Yep. And this is another one where he's the sax is kind of following him. You know, it's in the back or the trumpet in this case. I think it's very
Yeah.
it's following along. You know his. So nice.
Yeah, this is probably the best hook on the album for me.
Agreed.
I also, this is one of my favorite like lyrical spots,
Yeah.
just as like, because it's funny, but he's talking about using the bathroom at a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this one.
It's so stupid, but it's just funny. It gets me every time. I want to do that. I want one day to find what's the purpose of life on the wall at a gas station so I can write that in.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's so. To be the eyes, the ears, and the consciousness of the creator of the universe. You fool.
You
I love-
fool.
You fool. It's so good. He has so
Yeah,
much
it's definitely-
personality on all of these, you know? Like, even when things go over your head, it's so, like, personable, you know? He doesn't, like, it's not, when he's doing this stuff, and when he's speaking, this whole album, it doesn't feel, like, it doesn't feel preachy, you know? It doesn't feel like...
no, not at all.
Like, you know, a lot of people are like doing that, like that fake woke shit and that like I'm really deep and stuff like that. He just embodies this, but in such a human way. I feel like so it's not preachy. It's very humble. It's very just him and something that everyone can relate to in a way. I feel like it's really cool.
Yeah, like, bro, I'm just doo-dooing at a gas station. It's like that's like no rappers on the radio are gonna be talking about that kind of thing. It's like,
Doo-dooing at a gas
definitely.
it's like, hey, we all do it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very authentic. Like
Yeah.
you can relate to it.
Yep.
And I can appreciate that from a
100%.
musical standpoint.
100%. It's very true.
You said you like Mythical?
I do. I love Doldrums too.
Doldrums is really
Doldrums
good.
is good, yeah.
That was one of the singles, right?
Was it one
I'm
of
pretty
the
sure.
singles?
Oh yeah, what were the singles? Let me look that up.
Yes, yeah, I think it was. I know Golden Sardine
Yeah.
was it?
No, I think it was just Leaving Hell and Doldrums.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, and then I think there was a music video for
Oh,
something
maybe.
that was released
I'm just
after.
looking on Spotify.
I don't know, yeah.
I love the very intro of this.
Yeah.
He's talking
yeah.
about writing it outside of Wegmans after they kicked me out for
Yep.
kicking too many rhymes.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually I think he talked about it in an interview and that's actually what happened. I think.
Yeah. I love that.
And that I love in the music video how he's outside of the Wegmans.
Yeah.
It's
so funny.
Kick me out for kicking too many rhymes.
Yeah, then he kind of like giggles to himself
Yeah.
as he kind of realizes the absurdity of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love
That's true, this song is good too.
I love how he like not emphasizes he what's it called? He kind of explains it more in depth during the first verse. He's talking about wearing a cloak in Wegmans and being escorted out. Is this what rap's about? You know, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can tell he's being like super genuine about
exactly.
the situation. Like, who's gonna make that up?
No, right, exactly.
It's
It's
a real
very
situation.
and it's he's reflecting on that situation.
Yeah.
He talks about it in the intro, but then he kind of reflects on it a little bit more and like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Ooh. I'm just kind of reading off of Genius,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
the title of this I guess references a book called The Phantom Toll Booth, where there's a main character and his name is Milo in it.
Oh.
And I guess he gets sidetracked while driving and ends up in the doldrums.
Huh.
And
Whoa.
I guess that influences a lot on this track. So I think that's really cool.
That's really interesting.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So
Mythical, man.
Oh,
It's man, it's one of my favorites too.
Ooh. Okay.
The beat is so mythical.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're like just really kind of like taking a drive through like a foggy forest, you know?
Another one of my favorite beats, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the flow is so interesting on this.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Sure.
so cool.
Drums like stampeding oxen.
Yep. I love the bars here are so good. Just like
Yeah.
this is really him like flexing his lyrical ability too. I feel like
Mhm.
like you said, Tom. It's very like MF Doom in a way where he's like syllable
Oh,
after
yeah.
syllable. I guess you lost him. B210 Dotson Flossin Powers Austin. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
asparagus fern, arrogance earn. Like ooh man, and
Yes.
so many of
Yes.
these bars
Yeah.
are so like so creative. So creative. He's always so creative with his bars, and they're so just intriguing. They're weird, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
They
really
work.
good. It's so fun to listen because when you're listening to his music, there's no way you can catch everything
Nah.
on the first, second, third, fourth listen. You have to listen to it so many times, and
Yep.
it's fun just always picking up on new things to be like, oh, that's what
Yeah.
he's talking about, or like,
Yeah. This album definitely has a lot of replayability.
Yeah.
To where
Yep.
you can go back and pick up a lot of stuff you missed out on the first couple listens. Like even during this review, I'm picking up on stuff I didn't really notice before. It's kind of
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah, no, me too.
So-
yeah,
And
always.
it's really cool
Yeah.
too. Like his he has I like even on my first ever listen to this, there's some lines that just like stick in your head kind of. Like just even how he says some of these lines, you know what I mean? Like it's like
Mhm.
like I don't know, the whole like vegan white cheddar, please panini croissant. I don't know if the message is getting across, and he kind of like starts to choke up a little bit because he's
Yeah.
laughing, and it's just like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know. It's
Mhm.
it's really cool. There are little
Yeah.
lines that stick with you even if it's weird and complex.
Yeah. Also, another like pull back to like tie things together. There's a section on here where he's talking about we're not starving artists, we're not starving,
Yeah, we're not starving.
and there's a
Yes.
song
Exactly.
called "No Starving Artists" on the album.
Yep, there you go. I
Mhm.
just love only the moon see my outtakes.
Mhm.
Like that. That's a nice line.
Yeah.
I also I did like Pinball as well with Open Mike Eagle. I thought
Pinball's
that was
great.
it's not my favorite, but I thought it was a notable part of the album. The only other feature other than Mike Ladd.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like his flow as well, and also I like, you know, we mentioned a couple times where he has a lot of MF Doom style influence, and on the chorus he's talking about playing pinball with 𝙍𝙑𝙑𝙑𝙑.
Yeah.
That was MF Doom's original rap name,
Yeah.
Yup.
and so I thought that was a cool little like Easter egg for people who do that.
Totally. 100%.
And,
It's real cool. This
Yeah.
Pinball was the first song that I think I listened to from this album because it came on Spotify.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What?
Okay. I'm just reading Genius. Apparently that line, and then I played pinball with 𝙍𝙑𝙑𝙑, is a reference to the song #1 hit record by Edan. And the line is, I farted in a fishbowl and then I played pinball with 𝙍𝙑𝙑𝙑𝙑. Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
Alrighty, Dan. I see
Man.
you.
Okay.
Wow.
Sure.
I don't know that guy, but I fuck with that line. Maybe you gotta check him out.
Yeah.
Edan.
Man, that's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole
Wow,
thing.
that was really
that's
long.
all 18
Sorry.
tracks. That's all right.
It's a long album.
It
I mean,
really is.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially if you talk about each track, so I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I'll start with my favorite tracks.
Yeah, that's
I'll jump in. I'm stuck between Leaving Hell and Non-Cypher. I really like both of them. I think I'm gonna go with Leaving Hell, just because it's a bit more easy to get into. And I like the wittiness in the bars, talking about the writing on the wall, figuring out the meaning of life. It was really cool.
Exactly.
But it still remained true to himself, you know. It's very verbal, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like
right.
he's very, yeah. I enjoyed how he focused a lot on the bars, even if sometimes it can be a little bit of a detriment, in my opinion. But this one's the most accessible, and I definitely enjoyed it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nick?
Yeah, my I think my favorite would definitely be Laundry. For sure. I listen to that one like very often. That's definitely either that one or Non-Ciphered too. Again, great song.
Yeah.
Are we picking sleepers?
Well, we do best and then worst and then sleepers.
Okay, cool. So
Asher, go ahead.
yeah, man, it's a really hard one. So my most listened to, I feel like, would be Mythical. I listen to that constantly, like so frequently. But this is a hard one, actually. I might honestly just pick Mythical because I was gonna say Leaving Hell, but which I love that song, you know. But I think Mythical might have to be my favorite, just because I don't know. It also holds like a personal like connection to me because I was also listening to it a lot through quarantine, and it's very nostalgic for me. Like already nostalgic, right? But yeah, I think Mythical. It's simple. It's like he's got some bars, and I think it's a perfect showcase of his abilities. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Nice. All right, then my least favorite track. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go with was it not? God, I don't know. I gotta think about
Hard,
this more.
man.
I got mine. I'll go first.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, go.
I'd say Pinball.
Really?
Yeah. While I love Open Mike Eagle, I'm not really a big fan of his feature on this song.
Yeah.
I don't know. This song almost feels like it's like the outro of Mythical in a way.
Yeah.
That like main kind, it's like the string or whatever that is that kind of like levitates through the song.
Yeah.
It's almost an extension of the like the muted trumpet or whatever that is in Mythical. I don't know.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But yeah, I don't know. I just always find myself listening to Mythical and then I'm like, okay,
I had enough of
I'm
this.
just kind of over now because I get to Pinball and I'm like, all right. But I mean, I still love the songs after that. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Pinball.
Yeah.
I would. Or Tom, are you ready? Are you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cycles.
Me too.
Just because it comes after Dust Up. Yeah. L.
Cycles is good.
I think Dust Up is a cooler part of the album, and then Cycles just kind of feels like that, but with a beat, which you know is fine. I understand that, but it was just it's more of the same, and it's a bit longer of a track compared to the rest of them. So especially if you don't like it, it drags itself out a bit longer, and so no.
Yep.
Hold that.
I'm gonna agree with you, Tom. I was actually gonna say the same thing.
Oh,
cool. Cycles would be my least favorite too, just because it's like, and like, I don't know, it just doesn't hit for me. It just does not hit. The bars are great, but look, you got Dust Up, right, which is on one end of the spectrum. Then you got Absolutes, which is on the other end of the spectrum. Cycles is that weird in between, I feel like, and I just like personally, I just find
almost like a
myself
track
skipping.
listing thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, again, like, if I had to pick, I'm not even saying, like, I don't like this song. Like, no, it's great, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, in terms of the album,
Right.
yeah.
Personally.
And then for sleepers, I think I'm gonna go with Absolutes. I really like that Latin guitar flip that he uses in this one.
Wish it was longer.
Again, super lyrical across the whole thing. Like, you're not gonna find a part on this album where he's not delving deeper into a topic that he puts a lot of complexity into.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one's probably it's a bit like in the middle of the album, so people are probably gonna miss it.
True.
But if you want to give it a chance, absolutes.
Fantastic track.
Mhm.
Nick?
I'm gonna go with An Idea as a Work of Art as my
Really?
sleeper. I think it's a very much a standout performance on the album. He does not sound like that at all anywhere else on the album.
Very true.
It's
Standout
another
beat, too.
standout beat, yeah. And there's a feature on it. The feature's great. And just lyrically, he's really in it, and you can really feel he means like everything he's talking about.
It
I
feels
don't know.
magical. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it really is.
And yeah, it's like kind of towards the end of the album. A lot of the times, I feel like it's gonna get skipped over, but definitely a sleeper. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go with Omens and Totems. Because I feel like it's gonna be skipped a lot just because of the sheer I guess
Like
you know
what is
how like it's so not easy to listen to, right? It's not, you
Yeah.
can't just put it on and bob your head to it. So I feel like it's a sleeper because of that. But it starts off the album with like, this is one of the themes that we kind of touch on, you know, like this is at the dark side of this album, right? And it touches on it really nicely, you know. It doesn't feel like out of place at all. And I just think it's very like lovable for how dark it is, you know. It's just interesting to listen to, you know.
I listen to it a lot when I'm driving home from work when I close.
Yeah, me too.
It's a real good like driving home in the dark song.
It's such a weird vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
The huge sub that kicks in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's super cool.
real weird. Yeah.
All right, so let's rate it.
rate.
Out of 5, I'm feeling probably about a 3 for me, honestly. There are parts where, I wasn't as deep into it as I feel like you guys are. There are parts where he's just a little too lyrical at times, which, you know, in most cases is a good thing.
Yep.
But sometimes it's just hard to follow for me. Again, 18 tracks, it is a bit deeper.
Yeah.
But I really love the production.
That's true.
Yeah, now that I look at it, there are a lot of replayable factors after listening that can really stick with you.
Agreed.
Yeah, overall it's positive. So
Yeah.
Nick?
I'd probably give it between a 4 and a 4.5.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me. I mean, again, I don't really listen to a whole lot of stuff like this, so it's like a standout. You know, when I'm in the mood to listen to something like this is always what I go to, which is always a good sign for me. And like I said, I mean, it's definitely an album that like you don't really realize you like as much until you like think about it and you're like, what, like how many of these songs did I not really like? And you go back and you look at it and you're like, hold on,
Not many.
I like all of these.
Even during this review, I was thinking that I was going to go in with this like with more like, that was okay, but nah, like.
Yeah, it's like 18 songs. There's got to be some that aren't really that great, and you go back and you're like, there's really like not that many that
There's
I
some
don't
things maybe
love.
I could do without maybe a little bit, but then I think about it, I'm like, without it, I don't think I'd like the album as much.
Yeah.
So that's a solid.
So yeah,
do you give like half scores here? Like, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. I was gonna say like 4.7, but I'm gonna say 4.5. Yeah.
Okay.
4.7.
And like, because it's like, I don't know, 4.5 didn't feel good enough in my heart for it.
Yeah,
No, I've done that before. I've given it like a 4.8 to an
Right,
album.
exactly. Just because it's not perfect, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Just again, I think
Wow.
like he just does. He writes something that's very intricate, right? It's super like mad intricate, except he does it in a very lovable way. Like it's a way that you can kind of just, even though it's like complex, I feel like I can just listen to it, You know, it's not like I don't have to take the time to sit down. I can take the time to sit down to it because it's that complex, but I can also just pop it on while I'm like, you know, studying or outside, you know, shit like that, working on my car or something, right? I can just pop it on, you know? So yeah, I'd say 4.5.
definitely.
There's not a song that I dislike,
Nice.
really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling on this Athletic Brewing Company's Run Wild
forgot.
IPA? Unfortunately, it has
banger.
gotten kind of warm for me. 'cause
A bit.
Warm for me too.
I do not have the window open right
Me too.
now. But it's good. I enjoyed it. I don't understand it technically, like just from the non-alcoholic side and
Yeah.
having it taste exactly like an alcoholic beer.
Weird.
Yeah, it's definitely a head scratcher. I'm not going to drink a lot of these in the future.
Yeah.
But I think they achieved what they wanted to do on this, like
Yeah.
to a T.
Yeah.
So I'll give them credit for that. But personally, probably about like a 2.5. Just like
Wow,
it
2.5.
it tasted like a beer, but it's not a beer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm down the middle.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Definitely like as not because I'm definitely not a beer fan. I would not consider myself a beer fan. So it's pretty hard to even get a beer that would rate like a 4 for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd give it like a 2 or like even a
Yeah.
1.5 because again, like the only real redeeming quality for me for beer is the alcohol.
You're right. No, so what's the point?
You
of
rip
even
that out of it,
liking
and it's like, damn, okay.
Well, now it just tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's the least of both worlds for you.
It's not awful, but I definitely would not
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
drink it.
I'm coming from the opposite kind of perspective, honestly, because I'm a person who likes the taste. I like beer, right? Like I like just drinking beer. You know, I'm a Modelo guy.
Okay.
But like, I like that bitterness, and I mean, I think again, like what you said, Tom, it really like, it does its job very well. It's weird for what it is, but it's like it works for what it is. Again, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Honestly, I'm an easy
Okay.
critic. I like it. It has very refined bitterness. Like it has a really nice bitter quality to it that I feel like would really appetize me when I'm eating. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink the rest of my 6-pack sometime while I'm just eating, probably just because it's like I fuck with it. I mess with it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I like what they did.
Well, I could recommend you some food to go with that, like some party pizza.
Yo,
or
Yeah,
some
please.
party
shrimp.
pizza.
Like some party pizza, whatever that
Oh,
is.
is
Shit
I don't
sounds
know,
crazy.
but that oven roasted shrimp though,
Yeah.
Sounds
Definitely try that out.
fantastic. Might have some like shrimp and
Alright.
grits to this.
ooh, okay, all right, or some seared tuna bowl. That's another thing they
Don't
they
even
add,
know
but
what
I
that
don't
is, but yeah. Seared tuna bowl.
Looks good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about
It's a long
it.
one.
Thank you guys again for coming on and talking about this album. It was
Yeah.
definitely a outside of my comfort zone as
Yeah,
well.
word.
So definitely do that. Episode 37. This is kind of weird for me because we haven't planned that one yet, so I don't know what we're doing.
It's a surprise.
So
for
it's gonna be a
everybody.
complete mystery. So if you like that, well, I mean, you'll see the teasers on our Instagram, the Hops and Bops podcast on Instagram. We do a little teaser for that, so you'll see that. But yeah, as of right now, nothing for us. Yeah, I'm assuming Mike and Joe will be back by then. So if you missed the two hosts, don't worry, they'll be back soon. They're recovering from their COVID shots. I'm sure they'll be fine. But I just wanted to thank Nick and Asher again. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
you.
man, for real. This was really
Yeah.
really fun to be on this, so I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
hopefully we
definitely.
can do something like this again in the future.
Unless
Absolutely,
people hate
yeah.
us.
If you guys want to
Get 'em off
you
the
guys should
show.
definitely come on in the future. You definitely have a very deep knowledge and passion for music, which I can really appreciate.
Thank you so much,
So,
for real.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Next episode will be out in one more week. Not sure what it'll be, but look forward to it nonetheless. Hops and Bops podcast, streaming live on, well, not live, but streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, it's YouTube. For Nick and Asher, I'm Tom, and we will see you next week.
Thanks so much, Tom. Thanks for listening.